So, hello guys, welcome or welcome back to the KP show. So, the Gabba test is in the books. India and Australia are squared up at 1-all in this test series, Border Gavaskar Trophy of 2024. Now, let's recap a bit about what happened at the Gabba, post which we will talk about the interlude between the Gabba test and the Melbourne test, which is the Boxing Day test match. There's a lot that has happened with the Indian team and on the outside as well. So, we'll talk about it one by one. So yeah, the first topic on our list is just the review of the GABA test. Not much play has happened on day 5. We've already covered everything that we had to for the days 3 and 4 and even 1 and 2 in our previous video. You can just go back and check for yourself. We already discussed about the batting failures of all the Indian batters. We decoded each and every batter, so it's a pretty decent analysis from our side, which you guys can just go and have a look at. So yeah, coming to day 5, not much action happened on day 5. It was like India batted for 10 runs, following which Australia came on to bat. They were 89 for 7, but yeah, it's the action that happened was not as dramatic as the scorecard suggests. It was just that they were going for the shots. India did bowl well, but I wouldn't read too much into the score. What are your thoughts, Pratik, on that?
Yeah, I have very much the same thoughts about that 89 for 7. If you see, Australia was like going after every ball, all the batters from ball one. And as I said in that review as well, even 100 runs in 35 overs is going to be tough, especially on day 5 in Gabba, even if you want to score quick. So that is what happened, and they lost wickets in a quick succession.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it. But yeah, we bowled well, and finally we managed to get Travis Head out within 15 runs, I think. So that is a great achievement for I think it was Siraj who set him up with that body line short ball. So let's see if we can get more of it in the coming two test matches.
Yeah, I think that definitely that's a big up for us that we got Travis Head out. It just boosts the confidence, regardless of what was the situation of the game at that point. Just getting him out is a good thing for us. Yeah, overall, just to read out the scorecard, Australia batted first. They got 445. We got 260. That incredible partnership between Akash, Deep, and Bumrah saved the test match for us. Jadeja and Rahul were very impressive with the bat. Jadeja 70 and Rahul 80 odd. Following which we took 89 for 7, and we were just 8 for no loss. We batted for 2 3 overs before rain just forced the test match to be a draw. I think overall between the two sides, India would be the happier side walking out, because even in our series preview, everything we always talked about Brisbane Test being the series decider, because on either side it was 2-all kind of a scenario. We expected Australia to be on top. Even everybody, including Australia themselves, expected themselves to be on top uh, by 2 nil up after the first two tests, and considering India would be the favorites to win the next two tests. So this was the one where it could have been the decider. But I think it's a good result that it's 1-all at this point. Three big tests are out of the picture. Now we move on to MCG, where it would be favorable for us slightly, but I believe there's a lot of work to be done. What are your thoughts on how the series has panned out? Who do you think is the happier side of the two?
Yeah, India definitely will be the happiest side of the two, walking out of Gabba undefeated. Because if you see how the test match was poised at the end of day 2 or even at the end of day 3, I saw no way India was coming back if they had a full play of the 2 days or even 5 sessions if we played. I didn't see India coming back into the game from any point of
Mm.
time. A few missed chances, obviously from Australia on the field. Smith dropped a catch. Then few things happened, but kudos to Indian batters as well. They applied themselves beautifully on day 4 and batted out the entire day, and also helped us avoid the follow one, which was kind of celebrated in the dressing room, which I am not in very much support of. But if you
I'm
look
in full support
on
of,
the
I
bigger
would say.
But if you look at the bigger picture, I think that was a great achievement because, anyways, this match could have decided how the series was going to pan out because MCG and SCG both historically have been good for India. If you see in the at least in the last 20 years, so that is a big positive, in my opinion. Let's see how it pans out.
Yeah, I think it just changed the room, the aura, I would say, of the dressing room, because it was kind of doom and gloom at that point. But this you all you need is a little spark to ignite that belief. I think that's what this avoiding of the following situation did for India. Hopefully, India will come out strong. But yeah, all that would mean nothing if India goes on to lose the next Test match, because that means everything that you've done so far, it just goes down the drain. Hopefully, India comes out strong and wins the MCG Test. But before that, there are certain news points that we had to discuss that has happened after the Gabba Test and before the MCG test, of course. Let's talk about some team news that we have. Sam Konstas has been brought in for Nathan McSweeney by Australia. Pretty much it says that the 19-year-old is going to be making his test debut in place of McSweeney as the opener. Now, the interesting thing is, just after being dropped, Nathan McSweeney won the game for his side, Brisbane Heat, at the Gabba itself. This time, no
Yeah,
rain.
yeah. And he scored some unbeaten 80 runs in a chase of 165, I think it was. And he batted really well. If you see the knock and with the wickets coming going down from the other end, McSweeney held one end together and scored a lot of runs. So that was a very good innings from him. And not sure why they chose to drop McSweeney because I don't think McSweeney batted badly somewhere. Means when it was required, he stood his ground in Adelaide when it was much required for them. Okay, Perth nobody batted well, and again in Adelaide, again in Brisbane, the same thing. Usman
Yeah,
Khwaja is kind of a walking wicket as of now. He hasn't looked himself. If you see Usman Khwaja of 2023, and now if you see Usman Khwaja, it seems he's very much out of form.
yeah,
So, and also he's 38, I guess, because he and Warner are of the same batch, I guess. So, not very sure of the tactics of Australia. Maybe they
yeah.
want to give him the last two home tests, and also they have one test series coming up in
Against
next
Sri
month
Lanka.
in Sri Lanka. So, I think Usman Khwaja, anyways, will play it out. Let's see. But yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very aggressive call, and not very sure.
no,
Well,
I
that
would say
fare
it's a
well
defensive
in
call.
favor of Australia. Sorry,
I think
not
it's a
aggressive,
defensive.
very defensive call.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because if it were McSweeney and Constas as openers, then that would have been a very aggressive call. And I think that I was listening to one of the podcasts, Beyond 23, which is a podcast hosted by Michael Clark. He was also talking about the same thing. That they if they wanted Constas in, who's a youngster, they could have done it in. They could have done it for Khwaja instead of dropping a McSweeney who's just three test matches old. You're not doing the kid any favors. That's a bit harsh. Also, Nathan McSweeney, even if he did not score too many runs, he was instrumental in Australia's victory by just playing out those 10-15 overs early on with the new ball. What he did was he shielded the guys like Travis Head and the others who could just come out and face the old ball again, which is a pivotal role in Australia, I believe. So yeah, unfortunate for the kid, but yeah, in place of him, Sam Constas, very exciting talent. You've watched the PM11 game, right?
Yeah, yeah, he scored
I think
100. Yeah, he scored
yeah,
100. Almost a run the ball 100 he scored.
yeah,
And he batted really well against these guys. I mean, I think Akash was there in that game. Harshit Rana was there. And I think Prasid Krishna was also there in that game. Only Bumrah was not there. So he batted really well against most of the Indian bowlers. But again,
yeah.
let's see, this is a different stage altogether. Also, Boxing Day, 90,000 crowd. Yeah, it's a different ball game.
We already have a statement from Sam Constas saying that he's ready to face Bumrah. He's really excited to face him. So we'll see how it goes for the kid. Selfishly, definitely, I want India to get him out first ball or something like that. But yeah, good luck to the kid. Let's see what he does. Exciting batter. That's something that we can vouch for. But yeah, moving on to our next thing. Yeah, lot of injuries for India in the nets. Although we have statements coming in from Akash Deep saying that they are not too serious, but there is news for sure. So, firstly, Rohit Sharma. What we have read on Crick Info is that he was doing his regular practice, and while facing a spinner, he was attempting the pull shot, but the ball, I think, kept a bit low, and it just hit him on his knee roll. So he had to be taken out of the nets, and he had to put an ice pack on his knee and take some rest.
I think Rohit also has a problematic knee. If you remember, the hamstring and knee problems he always had in past few years. I hope it is not too serious, but
Yeah,
let's see what happens. Also, there is some concern with Akash Deep. It seems he was
yeah,
hit on the elbow, and that is a bigger concern for me given the way he bowled in Gabba. So let's see.
yeah. Good news on both the things is that Akash Deep had made a statement that these kind of things happen in cricket. I mean, you get these kind of injuries. All is fine. It doesn't seem too serious, but yeah, it definitely something that the fans should be aware of. And if we see a bit of underperformance then from these two, then I think it could be attributed to fitness. So now moving on from one injury to another, Mohammed Shami, he recently made his comeback after being injured for a long period of time. But yeah, there was a lot of debate whether should he be sent to Australia, should he not be sent to Australia. People were calling out for Rohit that why is he saying no to call Shami. They were Rohit Sharma and Gambhir made the statement that NCA should answer because it's been a long time about this injury. So a lot of controversy was going on, and Shami's status was up in the air. But now we have a final clarification from BCCI side. Let me read out the statement. Shami bowled 43 overs in the Ranji Trophy match for Bengal against Madhya Pradesh, following which he played all the 9 games of the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, where he also engaged in additional bowling sessions on the sidelines, basically to get ready for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Right, but what happened is throughout all this, his left knee exhibited a minor swelling. So
Yeah,
yeah, based
I
on this,
mean, with the with his age, and Shami is 34 or 30, 34, I think, 34 plus, and he's coming back from a major surgery, if you know.
mm,
So I think it's more of a precautionary measure, keeping in mind that we play a Champions Trophy in February, and
yeah,
Shami will be pivotal there. The 50
definitely,
over, I think he's our most prized wicket taker. So I mean, it's a good move. It's a smart move, I'd say, and it's also for the next generation that okay they can try few things because Harshit Rana and this guy Akash Deep, Prasid, all these people can also should be given their chances in the absence of the seniors. So yeah, I think it's a good call from BCCI and Gambhir as well in this part.
yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Absolutely, I would say, look, Border Gavaskar Trophy is very important for me, but I would still say, okay, Champions Trophy is just lurking around the corner. We already have the Champions Trophy schedule and everything out there for the group stages and everything. So it's important that Shami stays fit, and hopefully he recovers full time. Be ready to bowl those 10 overs in the Champions Trophy games. So hopefully that happens, and we wish a speedy recovery to Mohammad Shami. But yeah, moving on from this to a controversial part of today's video. The first controversy that we are going to be talking about is Jadeja's controversy. What we heard is he refused to answer some questions in English, and the Australian media created a huge uproar about this. What we have received from Jadeja's camp, as in reported by Crick Info, is that uh, it was a media engagement session arranged by the Indian this thing team management for Indian media. So that's why the question and answers they were in Hindi. Uh, Reportedly, Australian media just went out there to do some interviews, but Yeah, that's the reason why Jadeja did not answer them in English. Plus, there was also that the team bus was supposed to leave early, due to which Jadeja did not answer their questions. I think it's just a old media tactic which is being used by Australia overall in this case. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, these kind of things we have seen already from Australia, if you remember. Uh, Australian media is always ready with their mind games. If something doesn't work in their favor in the on field, they're always ready to push these things off field. So it's not a very new tactic given the dirty media tricks that Australian media plays. If you remember in 2008, what happened in that Monkey
Yes.
Gate scandal, if you remember, and all those things. It's Australia every time they have something to cover up their failures on field, I believe. So I
Yeah.
think we should not give importance to these things and better prepare for the test match.
Yeah. And we also have another controversy on our plate, which is the Virat Kohli journalist row, as it's being called all across social media. What we've heard is, and we've seen from the videos that are viral already. We'll try to link something in the description if we are able to find it on YouTube. The thing is, Virat Kohli asked a journalist, I don't know from which network, that please do not film us when we are with our families, and he asked for privacy basically, which is all within well within rights, I believe. After which there was some misunderstanding or something. The cameraman, they told him that no, we are not recording or something like that. Post which he just shook hands with them and just moved on. I think this is the news that we heard. But the controversy that happened after this was a guy called Tony Jones. So on one of the radio shows, 3AW Melbourne Radio, he called Virat Kohli a bully. So, I mean, I think these are some needless comments that they are making. And
If you see Virat's best innings in Australia last came in Melbourne in that 82 of 51 against Pakistan back in 2022 T20 World Cup. I think these are all cheap tactics again by Australian media just to keep him occupied because he is struggling with form. If you see now, these things again, I think these are all mind games played by Australian media just to keep him out of the game.
yeah, I mean, definitely, definitely. And I think Australia tried this last time around as well. If you recall, we heard news about how they did not treat them well. The Brisbane governor was saying, okay, if they don't want to come here, let them not come. They are not welcome. Those kind of big statements we have already seen from Australia, and almost in every round of Border Gavaskar Trophy, when India travels to Australia, we hear all these kind of things, which is, I mean, to be very honest, these are kind of unfortunate things that are happening off the field, which which I think we should not be too concerned about. I think it's a very
These are
mature
the
team
things
that we
that
have.
should be leashed. These are the things I
Yeah,
think the team and team management should avoid. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
whatever they are writing and all those things, they have done it over the years, and we know how it impacts the mental balance of a player or the entire team. So I guess India acts smartly and avoids all these things going into
yeah.
the
I
most
mean,
important match in the test match.
exactly, exactly. That is what they have to do, and I think that's what they are going to do as well. We've seen these guys, like the social media and everything. They do read about it. They say that they don't, but they do. But hopefully, they can keep all of it out. So, just moving on to one last story before we move on to the last segment. The last story is Tanush Kotian is being sent as a replacement for Ravi Ashwin. Tanush Kotian is an off spinner, plays for Mumbai in the Ranji Trophy, SMAT, and everywhere. He did well recently, and he has been a, a sensational spinner, sensational off spinner rather, in the domestic competitions in the last couple of years. Also, a very handy batter, has scored 100 alongside, I think, Tushar Deshpande or Shardul Thakur, or maybe all with both. So handy batter towards the lower order as well. So I think, considering all this, they have sent him. But what do you think about this?
I mean, why not Akshar Patel? What was the reason? Why did
Yeah,
they first drop him? Because I remember, as far as I remember, he was averaging close to 60 with the bat in last 2 years of Test match cricket.
Hmm.
And how do you reward that kind of a player? You drop him out of the out of a sudden. You drop him for no good reason. And now again, when there is a chance, at least pick him. Akshay Patel was good across formats in the domestic as well. I see no
Yeah.
reason, and he bats well. If you are facing issues with the batting, this guy already scored runs for you. If you remember the England series this year only, he batted well. Last year, I think Australian series, he scored some 350s, batting at number 8 and 9, 3 or 4 50s. So I don't think what this is right kind of a judgment from selection committee.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I kind of agree with that as well.
also Aksar is a classical off spinner. If you see the way he bowls in Test cricket, he gives the ball a lot of air and has that capacity to turn the ball as well. I mean, I have no clue why. Means he has all the experience now. He's almost 10 years into international cricket. He has been playing since 2014, if you remember. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think Akshar Patel should have been selected in the first place. Only he should have been there. Not sure why they didn't take him. Now again they decide not to take him.
So as you mentioned, Akshar Patel, I think he has to be extremely unfortunate for the way that he has been treated by this Indian management. Man, he was the key player who helped you win the T20 World Cup earlier this year. In the
Yes,
last Border Gavaskar Trophy that happened in India, he was a crucial batter for India. So he it's not that he has done anything wrong. He's been quite good for India, but it's unfortunate the way that he has been treated. But yeah, I think there are only 2 points why he has not been picked. One is that they want a off spinner in the 11 if they are planning to include him in the 11, and that would be Sundar, because for a left arm part they already have Jadeja. I think that's the although we believe that Akshar Patel could be a better bowler than Jadeja, but I think that's the only reason. And since Jadeja already has scored some runs, now though there is no way for Akshar to play in the
the
11 ahead
only
of
way
Jadeja.
two spinners can play that is in Sydney.
Sydney,
MCG,
Sydney.
anyways, you need four pacers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
MCG test at least you Nitish Kumar Reddy plays. And the three
yeah,
pacers plus one spinner, which has to be Jadeja because he scored runs. Now you can't drop him.
yeah, yeah. So that's exactly the point. And the other reason could be it's like okay, earlier in the series, they could have selected Akshar, but they did not. So that's out of the way now. Now they just didn't take him because, anyways, the player whoever is going there is just kind of a replacement only. They will not feature in the 11 for sure. I don't see a Tanush Kotian playing ahead of a Washington Sundar in the Sydney Test, if at all it comes down to that. Unless there's an injury, of course, which is always you never know what can happen. But yeah. So I think that that's all about the stories that we have. One last story that we have, which is a bittersweet moment, I think, for everybody, which is Ravichandran Ashwin's retirement. The great man announced his retirement right after the Gabba test ended. Took a very brief moment in the press conference to announce his retirement. Did not take any questions. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I was genuinely sad when that came up because if you see when KL and this guy went out to bat, Jaiswal, there was a moment on TV that Ashwin was almost in tears and Virat was hugging him. So didn't know what was going on during that time. Then just after the test match ended, we read reports that okay, Ravi Ashwin has announced his retirement. I mean, it was very difficult to accept that thing because if you see in the last 12 years, from the time he debuted back in 11-12, I think, season in test cricket for India, he has been a pivotal player for India in red ball cricket.
Yeah.
He won some 11 man of the series awards in test cricket. That is quite a lot. That is,
Which is the
and
highest?
far away,
Highest.
which is the highest alongside Muthaiya Muralidharan, who is the greatest bowler in test cricket, if you see. So, yeah, it was very difficult to digest, if you see.
Yeah.
And I mean, also the fact that there were not many home test matches coming up, I think this was always around the corner, especially what happened against New Zealand back last month. It was like always around the corner that someone will retire out of a sudden. And the sad part is it was Ashwin because he's the most
Yeah.
senior most player out of the in the team.
Yeah, I mean it's quite unfortunate to see what happened. I mean, Ashwin, I think never got the respect that he actually commanded. If you see, there are always critics talking about that. Okay, he does well only at home, not so much away. But guys, you have to look at James Anderson. So James Anderson was
No,
also
no.
very good at home. He didn't
If
do
you
so much
see
away.
Ashwin numbers, I think, I mean, he did well only. In England, he averages 26, which is quite good for an off spinner. In England, an off spinner 26 is good only. It's not because in England is not to have spin friendly wickets. Then
Yeah,
in Australia, I think he hasn't played that much. If you remember, in the it's kind of square only. In 11-12 series, where he came in the third test match, I think in Melbourne for Harbhajan. Harbhajan was dropped after the second test and they brought in Ashwin. I think it was his debut series or outside of India. Then in 13-14, well, everyone remembers how the pitches were and how the
yeah,
batting was at that time. Then in 17-18 BGT, he played the first test match. He got some 5 or 6 wickets. If you remember, he got the last wicket as well of Josh Hazelwood. He was there on the winning moment. And that test match also, he played under injury. And he
mm,
performed really well. And again, after that test match, he didn't play in that series because of that injury. Then in 2021, he was the architect, if you see, of the bowling. If you see how he negated Marnus and Smith, who were in good form coming into that series, if you see their past scores of 18 and in just prior to COVID and that series, you will get a picture how good Ashwin was.
yes.
New Zealand again. I think
And even with
nobody.
the bat also he contributed in the
Yeah,
Sydney Test match
with
in the
the bat
previous.
also,
He
he
saved the test
contributes.
match.
He saved the Sydney Test. I think he scored some 39 runs with a back spasm.
Yeah.
As I remember, his
Him and
wife's
Hanuma
statement
Vihari played
was
40 overs together.
40 overs they played, and his wife's statement was when he woke up in the morning that day, I thought he can't walk.
Yeah.
And with that kind of a condition, that guy batted 40 overs in the Sydney Heat against this bowling attack of Starr, Cummins, Hazelwood, and Nathan Lyon.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
some performance
Yeah. I
as
think
a
over
batter.
the years, for Ashwin, he has been a victim of combinations. Unfortunate for him that it did not work out. But yeah, but even after everything that is said and done, he deserved a much more respect than what he was actually given, I would say, from fans, experts, everybody alike. But at the end of the day, he retires as the second highest wicket taker for India in Test cricket, which puts him in the lines of a Sunil Gavaskar or a Sachin Tendulkar. No, not Sachin Tendulkar, but on the lines of Sunil Gavaskar or Rahul Dravid. That kind of
I mean,
enigmatic figure
from a
he is in
bowling
Indian.
perspective, from a match winner or bowler's perspective, if you see in India, even in last 20-30 years, whatever you see, I always stick to those words of Ravi Shastri. How do you win a test match? You take 20 wickets.
Yeah,
And so the bowlers have a greater role to play in winning a test match, especially in subcontinent. And is that is where Ashwin comes into play, the mastery of Ashwin. And I think he has the most 5 wicket hauls after Murli, or 37 or something he has. I don't remember the
yeah,
exact number, 37 or something he had. So Ashwin, I think, was the biggest match winner for India in Test match cricket
no
in
doubt about
this
it.
post 2000s, at least,
Yeah,
whatever cricket I have watched. So I see no reason in saying that he was the best spinner that we had, at par with Anil Kumble, given the results he produced.
definitely. He was one of the best match winners, if not the greatest for India. But yeah, like I said, I was speaking on the lines of Kumble is the highest wicket taker, Sachin Tendulkar is the highest run scorer. They are at the same level. Second, if you see Rahul Dravid, second highest scorer, Ravichandran Ashwin, the second highest wicket taker. Definitely on that level. And I think after his retirement, and there are multiple contributions which Ashwin has made to cricket as a whole. We are going to talk about it in a different video. But yeah, I think he deserves a lot of respect, and I think after his retirement, now the fans and everybody has realized, looking back at his career, how great he was for India in the red ball format. We wish Ashwin a happy retirement, and now he is our colleague at YouTube. He's going to create a lot of videos, so probably
Yeah,
he'll
he
see us
started in
someday.
Hindi as well. Means he started
Yeah,
recording for Hindi audience as well.
he's a
So
great
that's
presenter, man. Always loved him, and
yeah,
I don't know Tamil, but yeah, I know few words, but I used to watch with the captions on his video with Prasanna in Tamil when he used to make them. That again, now thankfully he's making them in Hindi, so I can relate to it much more.
yeah,
But
great
yeah,
cricketing brain Ashwin had.
yeah, definitely,
Means
definitely,
Ashwin
I see
has.
him doing broadcasting for sure. If he doesn't stick completely full time on YouTube, he's definitely going to be doing some broadcasting work for sure because he has that cricketing brain and also that zeal to work in cricket. He already mentioned this as well that he's going to do it anyways. But before that, we still have a lot from Ashwin as a player that he already mentioned. Probably like a MS Dhoni version 2.0, he's going to stretch his career in the IPL. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it will be good only because I don't
Yeah,
see Ashwin perform badly in IPL.
yeah.
Maybe the wickets column doesn't do much justice to
Do
his good
justice.
work.
Yep.
But if you see the way he bowls and the situation he bowls, he just scuffs the game by the neck. If you see,
Yeah,
so Ashwin is a very smart, a very intelligent cricketer. So you can't means it's very difficult that he will perform badly.
yeah,
On very rare occasions that can happen. Like last year, I think one game Tristan Stubbs took him down. So like
yeah,
13 out of 14 games, if you are doing good, how means you're a good player only. You're a good performer only.
yeah. Definitely. So with that, we wish Ashwin a happy retirement, and I think that's all that we have for this video. We will be doing a preview for the Boxing Day Test match. I think it's going to be up in a couple of days, right before the Test match, and you can have a look at that. But up until then, check out our other videos. If you like our videos, consider subscribing to our channel and sharing them to our friends. It definitely helps us a lot. And yeah, we'll try to bring as many cricket videos as possible from our side. So till then, see you in the next video. Ciao.